You ever wake up thinking it's just another peaceful morning, then find out you're stepping right into a war before you've even had your coffee? Yeah, that was me. Boots crunching gravel on my late uncle's old lake cabin lot. Sun barely up, coffee in hand, still half dreaming about fishing off the dock, until I see it. Big, bright red Jeep parked dead center in the only driveway hazards blinking like a dare. And there on the porch is a woman in a sun hat, clutching a clipboard and sipping some overpriced latte, giving me that I've been waiting for you smile, the kind you only get from people who think the rules are for everyone else, not for them. Let me tell you, I knew right then this day was about to go off the rails. The coffee went cold in my hand as she waved all fake friendly and Queen of the Lake energy. I remembered standing over my uncle's casket, swearing I'd protect this last patch of family history. And let me tell you, I was not about to let some HOA president with a designer hat and a Jeep dictate the rest of my life. So I walked up slow and steady, each step on the gravel feeling like a countdown. When I got close enough, I spotted the Jeep's vanity plate, HOA, and just about laughed. She smiled all teeth, the kind of smile that says she's already written 3 complaint letters before breakfast. And then just to kick things off, she calls out that this here is community parking. She's just making sure my lot stays tidy till the new community center gets built. I stare at her, then the Jeep, then the absurdity of the whole thing, and I ask straight-faced how she even got past the gate since last week I'd chained it shut with a lock big enough to secure Alcatraz. She waves a hand at some poor teenager in a golf cart idling at the lot's edge, and it hits me. She cut the chain just like that because in her mind, HOA presidents are above both law and locks. So now I'm standing on my own property at Sunrise Coffee, going bitter, watching her Jeep leak oil onto my driveway while she talks about building a community center like she owns the place. I tell her as calm as I can manage that she's trespassing, she needs to move her Jeep. And well, she just tilts her head again, like a golden retriever that's been to finishing school, and says it's only fair to let the community have access because, and I quote, the previous owner never minded. Meaning my uncle. I tell her straight up, I'm not part of the HOA, never have been. Deed says my lot's exempt. She blinks, smiles like she's about to pounce, and says she'll leave soon, just has to finish her inspection. I ask her what inspection, and she holds up her clipboard, thick with papers stamped HOA, says she's checking setbacks and fences stuff that sounds an awful lot like excuses to snoop around on my land. Right about then, I think of my uncle, how he used to warn me about HOA rumors, about how they wanted to seize lakefront lots for public access. I remember all those nights I spent busting my tail to save up and fix this cabin. And here's Karen. Yeah, let's call her Karen, acting like she's the foreman. I walk past her, unlock the door, step inside. Cabin still smells like cedar and dust lake water in the air, except right there in the entryway is a little high-heeled sandal print in the sawdust. Hers. I turn, tell her again she needs to leave, but she just sips her latte, taps her clipboard, says she'll be done soon. I realize she's not just pushing boundaries. She's testing me, seeing how far she can go. That Jeep, just her first chess piece blocking my only move. Right then, I decide to change the game. I pull out my phone, start filming slow pan Jeep clipboard, her face, the cut chain, the nervous teenager in the golf cart. She huffs, asks if I'm really recording. Yep. She says that's harassment. I say, nope, evidence. She scowls, mutters about new neighbors ruining everything, then finally snaps her clipboard shut and walks to her Jeep, but instead of moving it, she sits there scrolling on her phone, just daring me to do something. I stand on the porch thinking through every legal move. I know my uncle's voice in my head, don't give an inch or they'll pave over your whole world and call it theirs. Sun's all the way up now, Jeep's chrome glinting, birds scattering tension thick in the air. I call the county records office, double-check every clause in my deed. While it rings, Karen starts honking her horn, little beep-beep chirps like a toddler with a toy, and the teenager peels off in the golf cart, dust flying. Clerk confirms, No HOA jurisdiction, full private access fence. It gate it, do what I please. I thank her, hang up, plan forming in my head like steel beams, walk back to the Jeep. Karen rolls her window down 2 inches. I tell her one last chance to leave before I call the sheriff. She smirks, says, "Go ahead." So I film the Jeep one more time, then grab a brand new lock and chain out of my truck, walk to the gate. Karen's eyes go wide as she realizes what I'm doing. She yells something about legal rights, but too late. I shut the gate, run the chain through, snap the lock closed. That sound echoed across the whole lot. Now her Jeep is trapped inside my property behind a locked gate. She bolts from the Jeep, stops when she sees the phone still recording, hisses she'll call the HOA board. I tell her, call whoever you like. Scene takes maybe 5 minutes, but it feels like the opening round of a heavyweight fight. She stomps back to her Jeep, slams the door, revs the engine, but the gate's not budging. I sit on the porch, sip my now iced coffee, stare at the lake, thinking ahead to the tow contract I'm signing this afternoon, the steel gate I'll install next week, the legal filings I'll prep, and the moment inevitable now when Karen realizes she's just boxed herself in. The breeze shifts, carrying pine and gasoline. Karen rolls her window, yelling that I'm making a huge mistake. And you know what? For the first time that morning, I feel calm, almost amused at how fast a sunrise can turn into a battleground. The Jeep idles, locked gate, shining lake lapping at the shore, and somewhere out on the water a loon calls a long, low, almost comic sound, as if it's marking the start of a story that's going to end a whole lot differently than Karen expects. By the next morning, the Jeep is gone. But now there's a cream-colored envelope, gold HOA seal, thumbtacked to my porch. Letter inside is pure passive-aggressive gold, claims it's all a misunderstanding, but now they're formally reminding me that every lot in Lakeshore Estates is under Section 14B, which means, well, a whole lot of legal mumbo-jumbo about guest parking and no obstruction of access. My jaw clenches. This is the next chess move. They're going to try and paper me into submission, make their fake jurisdiction real by sheer volume of paperwork. I drive into Town County records in hand, ask the clerk to pull every deed plat file. She mutters, "This isn't the first time the HOA's tried this." Hands me a stack of papers, including an exemption note from the 70s single-paragraph faded type, but a steel wall around my rights. I copy it twice, one for my lawyer, one for the cabin door. Sun dips behind the trees, white SUV with HOA logo rolls up Karen in a blazer, 2 men in matching polos behind her. She calls out she's inspecting for safety hazards, threatens to call the county if I refuse. I hand her the exemption, read it slow. Her smile goes tight. She starts quoting bylaws. I tell her I'll comply with real inspectors, not her. One polo guy mutters trespass. Karen flicks her hand. He shuts up. Then she tries a new angle. Claims my new fence posts are on public easement. I tell her there is no public easement. She asks to measure. I laugh. Yes, I mind. She says it'll go in her report. I tell her, make sure you spell my name right. That night, adrenaline still buzzing, I rig up motion lights, mount a camera in a pine tree, paint a big sign, reserved parking for loon nesting area. Picture of an angry bird glaring at a car just to confuse everyone. Next morning, camera catches Karen's Jeep headlights off, stops at the gate. She snaps pictures of my fence, my sign lips pressed thin. She leaves, but the message is clear. She's not done. 2 days later, real county inspector shows up, badge measuring wheel, the whole bit. I show him the deed exemption. He laughs at the HOA letter. Says everything's in order, even compliments my chain and lock. We walk the line, mark some stakes. He files a clean report. That afternoon, voicemail from Karen accusing me of bribing officials, threatening escalation. That night, I sketch out plans for a permanent gate, concrete footings, steel swing arm, no bolt cutter can touch. I call Ray, local tow guy, ask about pre-authorized trespass towing. He says, just post the sign, I'll handle the rest. Meanwhile, Karen ramps things up. Neighbor warns me she's circulating a petition. Another says she's bragging about county zoning board connections. I record every interaction, every letter thickening the evidence folder. The humor in it all keeps me sane. Karen acting like a monarch, really just a neighbor who can't stand losing control. End of the week, autumn's first Chillgate materials, stacked cameras covering every angle. Lawyer files, cease and desist. Ray's tow truck has my property pinned. Yet at odd hours, the red Jeep still shows up, headlights glowing, engine idling, stubborn as a ghost. Every time the cameras catch it, timestamps piling up, harassment pattern clear as day. The more she pushes, the more I prepare. One night, sketching out cabin renovations, I hear the Jeep again, nose pressed almost against the gate. Karen inside, phone up recording, trying to bait me. I just wave, go back inside. In that moment, I feel it shift. I'm not just reacting anymore. I'm documenting, planning, building a legal fortress as solid as any poured concrete. Next morning, mist on the lake, birds over the water, I feel calm. Karen and the HOA have letters, clipboards, but I have patience, proof, a plan. The first act was Jeep and lock. Second paper, war inspections. The third, mine, entirely steel post towing contract, and the slow grind of law on my side. By the third week, the game shifts paper to action. Late one Wednesday, camera buzzes Jeep at the gate. 2 figures in hoodies along the fence. Flashlights out, tugging at posts, taking measurements. My pulse jumps, but it's all on film, HOA logo, caps and all. I call the sheriff. Deputies show up, figures scatter. One cop mutters he's seen a lot of HOA disputes, but this is one for the books. Next day, Karen flips the script posts on the forum that I threatened volunteers that HOA was surveying for safety. I print it, add to my folder. That afternoon, she shows up in a pink blazer, lemonade in hand, tries to get me to sign a simple community agreement. I ask her to slip it under the gate, 2 pages of legal nonsense claiming HOA authority over all community spaces. I hand it back unsigned. She says I'll regret it. Then she tries to buy the lot lowball offer, lifetime lake access, if I just take the deal. I tell her no money's enough. She sighs, spins gravel, driving off. That night, working by a lantern light, I install the first concrete footings for the new gate, forest humming, lake lapping. By dawn, posts stand like sentinels, steel arm ready. New signs, private property tow away zone, contact Ray's towing. Photos go to Ray and the county, everything above board. 2 days later, Karen escalates, brings county code enforcement. Inspector checks my lot, finds nothing. Laughs at how solid the gate is. Tells me Karen's filed dozens of complaints over the years, most don't stick. An hour later, Karen accuses me again of bribing inspectors, threatens civil suit. I forward it to my lawyer, go back to patching the cabin. Then one dusk, I come home to find the gate open. Jeep parked halfway down my driveway, hazards blinking. Someone forced the lock. Ray's already on his way, notified by the cameras. Karen's filming herself, ranting about how I'm blocking public access. I check the gate-cut lock in the dirt. She keeps yelling, calls me a thief, a squatter, a fraud. I ask once for her to move. She refuses. 10 minutes later, Ray arrives, hooks the Jeep. Karen shrieks about lawsuits, police, community emergencies. Ray stays calm, blocks her, says she's trespassing. Jeep lifts off the gravel. Karen screams, echo off the lake. She follows the tow truck on foot, filming till it disappears. I relock the gate, double-check the posts, then sit on the porch with a beer staring at the lake. Sunset's all fire and purple, whole war feels like a sitcom now. Next morning, forum explodes, half cheer me on, half say I'm a tyrant. Security footage leaks, Karen's Jeep swinging away, goes viral. News van parks outside, I ignore them. Karen posts a furious rant promising revenge. I print that too. That evening I sit on the dock thinking how this all started with a trespassing Jeep and ended up here, midnight prowlers, forged letters, viral video. Absurd but serious behind her drama is a real push to steal my land. I picture my uncle's photo on the mantle, promise him silent, I'll hold the line. Loon calls across the water, warning victory both. Standing at the locked gate sign gleaming, I feel steady. This isn't the end, just the pivot. My evidence is solid, plan set, patient, strong. Somewhere Karen's plotting, but for the first time, the ground feels solid. And mine, no Jeep, no clipboard, no HOA seal can shake it. And here's the ha-hey part. That viral video. Karen's pride dangling off a tow hook turned the whole narrative upside down. Folks who barely knew me before now nod when I pass in town. Some even stop by, offer to help rebuild the dock, patch the roof. Funny how the loudest bullies shrink fast when the truth comes out, and the ones with real grit, well, they stick around. So, here's my question for you. If you've stuck with me this long, when does community become control? When do boundaries matter more than being neighborly? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me where you stand, what you've seen, what you do. And if you've ever fought for something that mattered, big or small, let's hear about it. Hit like, drop a comment. Share your own HOA stories, good, bad, or just plain ridiculous. Because in the end, the only way to hold your ground is to know what it's worth and to never ever let someone else draw your line in the dirt.